act like we're in a Mexican restaurant and just go around it with the
Is this gonna sizzle and smoke? Like, is that real? It's all smoke and mirrors, really.
I feel like you're telling a lot of people that Santa Claus is not real.
Yeah. Today, we're bringing Asada into the test kitchen, and to help me, I have a very special guest, Scarleth, executive chef of Siete Foods, and we're making Carne Asada. Carne Asada, it's a dish, it's a party, maybe? It's a way of life? Is it all the above?
It's all of the above. Most people know carne asada as a type of taco, which they're not wrong. So it's typically sauteed beef with bell peppers and onions, but the carne asada that we know and love in South Texas is a backyard barbecue, essentially. So today we're gonna make actually all of the essentials for a carne asada. Got some grilled meats. We also have some rice and beans that we're gonna make, and we're also going to make some guac. You have a ton of people over, you've got music, and then you have a lot of food grilling.
So what kind of cut are we talking here? Are there different options that you can use?
Today we're gonna do beef fajita. My personal favorite is called arrachera. And so arrachera is really just a fancy word for skirt steak. If you're making fajitas, especially for a large crowd, you wanna go with something that's tender and will cook quickly.
We should probably get some flavor on this.
So this is our line of fajita seasoning. This is for beef, but you can use it on a lot of other things. Season up our meat with just a little bit of oil in our seasoning, and this will be ready to go on a skillet in a little bit. So you can marinate it even overnight, but it's good to go just like this. And just give it a good mix, and we'll set this aside to cook it on a hot skillet later on with some bell peppers and onions.
Yeah, I think if you're doing any kind of, grilling or even cooking meat indoors, like the first thing you should do is season it, right?
Absolutely.
Give a little bit of time for the flavor to penetrate, like a marinade.
Yes, and I feel like one step that people forget a lot is bringing it to room temperature. Bringing it to room temperature really gives you a better cook overall. This is actually a great hack if you're doing it indoors and you want that smoky flavor. A lot of our seasonings have smoked salt in it, so it gives it that smokiness without having to turn on your grill.
So I think we can set this aside now for the time being.
Yes.
Where do we go from here?
As your family gets there, as you pop up the music, as you open up that refreshing drink, you want to have something to kind of snack on. And so we're going to hop on a guacamole. Today we're going to do a little fun spin on it. Since we're already grilling all these things at our carne asada, you'll have plenty of grilled corn in there. So why not toss it in there? So it adds a little bit of a bite, a little bit of a char taste.
There's one very important ingredient that we have. This is my molcajete from home.
Yes, you will make the guac in there, and I will feed you ingredients. What we want to start off with doing is adding the red onion, either red or white, whatever you have in hand. We're going to mortar that with jalapenos or serranos, whatever you prefer. Try to crush that a little bit. What I do, if I don't have a molcajete at home, I would grab a masher and just mash them together.
It starts to smell so good so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
You do more of a pounding or more of a...
Both. So what I usually do is I'll try to get it in the center, pound it, and then do circular motions. You've got a great method going right now.
Do I?
Yes, you do.
That's the kind of validation I needed today.
Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the avocados. We're really gonna test your skills with this molcajete.
This is like really living on the edge.
I'm gonna start cutting the corn, and so we've grilled some corn ahead of time. You can take this off the cob and just toast it in a skillet if that's easier. Oh, that looks beautiful.
It really is amazing how fast it happens.
So then we're gonna finish it off with some lime juice. Close your eyes, Noah. Close your eyes. Let's add a little bit of salt. I'll toss the cilantro in there. So this is a great appetizer for the start of your carne asada. This is all you need. This and chips, and you've got a happy, happy crowd.
It looks like we have the makings of a really nice pot of rice here.
Yes, I'm gonna teach you our version of Mexican rice. It's a lot quicker, but it's just as tasty as your traditional.
My instinct is that we should wash this rice, but that's not what we're gonna do?
We're going to actually softly fry the rice before we cook it. So what we're gonna do is we're going to parch it in some oil, and we've got about a cup and a half worth of rice in here. This is long grain. And so what we want to do is we want to hear that sizzle, and we want to softly fry it until it starts to get golden brown.
We're sort of coating each rice in a little bit of oil and giving it a little toast on the outside, so we're not as worried about that kind of sticky surface starch.
Exactly.
So it's just like, yeah, I have no idea.
Wow, you knew the answer all
Right,
Mexican rice, typically you blend tomatoes, garlic, onions. Today we're kind of skipping those steps. We've got some veggie stock or chicken stock, whatever you prefer. And we're using tomato puree or tomato, if you have tomato paste, you can also do it with that. That'll add the orange hue to your Mexican rice. With rice, it's really like based on what your heart desires. So if you want a very, very bright rice, you add a little bit more tomato sauce, a little less broth. We'll add our aromatics. Today it's gonna be some bay leaf and some cilantro, and then we've got a little bit of our chicken fajita seasoning. So this, typically you use it to make chicken fajita, but it also adds a lot of flavor to your rice. So this is gonna be kind of like our swap for a chicken bouillon. Not only does it add a little bit of a smokiness to it, but it also adds a little bit more color into our rice. That's it, finish it off with our seasoning and cover it, and do not touch it until it's ready.
Touch it.
Yes.
Very
Don't even
important.
look at it. Don't even look
Forget
at it.
it exists.
Yes. We'll let it simmer for about 15-20 minutes until everything's absorbed, and the rice will be nice and airy. Typically, you'll go to a carne asada, they'll give you these little styrofoam cups, and you eat your charro beans almost like as a snack before the actual carne asada. And so we're gonna make that version today. So this version will have our charro beans from a can that are already seasoned, and they're a little spicy, and they're made with pinto beans, but we're also gonna add bacon, some smoked sausage, and some cilantro.
Salty, smoky pork. So that's already an exciting combination.
And so what we wanna do first is we wanna render our bacon.
And this is going to end up being sort of a brothy situation.
Yes.
Brothy rather than stewy.
Correct. You just have to serve some sort of bean element at your carne asada, really. So whether it's a refried bean that's mashed, or something that's whole like a charro bean, but one of the two characters has to show up in that plate.
Totally. Is this sort of like Texas style Mexican food?
It's very Mexican American, and it's heritage inspired. So things that, for example, I grew up in South Texas. This is the food that I grew up eating. I wouldn't say it's completely traditional Mexican. It's got a lot of American hues to it.
But certainly this is traditional and authentic to you, right? Like
Absolutely.
this is the food that you grew up with.
Absolutely, yeah. So a carne asada, it's done with everybody that you love, and then anybody that they want to invite to the table. And it's just something that we do as a family together.
And these beans are reason enough to celebrate,
Oh yeah.
I think.
Oh yeah. So this is actually a great way, a great hack to just kind of keep it simpler and faster.
Yeah, I love working with canned beans.
So we want to make sure this bacon is rendered. You want to kind of keep it a little crispy, even though it's going to soften up in the broth. You want to kind of extract all that fat from it.
Before we add this to a pot of bacon and sausage, these are vegan. No?
Yes, all our beans are completely vegan, and honestly, the charro beans are ready to go as is. So if I wanted to keep this vegan, I would just add a little bit of broth to it, a little bit of vegetable broth, and then maybe add some cilantro to it. All right, so after this, we're gonna toss in our sausage and let that cook with the bacon. You just want a smoked sausage. It could be beef, it could be pork. You wanna stir them all in there, and we're gonna cook this off for maybe 5-10 minutes, and then we'll add the rest of our things. So we'll add our beans, and then we'll also add some fresh cilantro in there.
Now it's time for the main event.
Carne asada is really based around the meat. So you've got the beef, you've got the chicken. Today we're gonna make beef.
This is super simple, but there's a lot of flavor here.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
just peppers, onions, well-seasoned beef.
Absolutely. For beef fajita in particular, if you're using flank or skirt steak, you wanna make sure that you cook it hot and fast. You wanna hear that sizzle?
And I think important to have a lot of space in the pan.
Yes,
So you can get a little
absolutely.
color.
Absolutely. So you never want to crowd the pan. So once you feel like it's been there for about a minute or two, we'll start adding our veg. So we've got some bell peppers, some onions, and you've got a meal just right here in itself. After this, we're gonna put it in the plate, and we'll act like we're in a Mexican restaurant and just go around it with
is
the
this gonna
fajita.
sizzle and
Yes.
smoke? Like, is that real?
That's not real. Wait, do you know the thing behind it?
I do, yeah. There's a trick. It's all smoke and mirrors, really.
I feel like you're telling a lot of people that Santa Claus is not real.
Yeah.
All right, beautiful.
Fajitas look great. I think we should bring it all together.
Yeah, last thing you always want to do for a carne asada is create a vehicle for all this food. So we've got some tortillas. These are almond flour tortillas that we're going to heat up on a very hot skillet. So these are naturally gluten-free and super, super delicious. My grandmother be watching this, she'd be like, use your fingertips for this. Just cook them for a few seconds on each side. Once you have a few of those beautiful burnt marks, they are ready to go. All right, so this is our final shot of everything that you need for a carne asada. So you've got our shining star, our beef fajitas, we've got our charro beans, which are so emblematic to South Texas and any carne asada you attend to. We've got the Mexican rice, and then we've got our guac to snack on.
What a spread. This is great. I'm in heaven. All right, let's take this to the backyard.
Oh, perfect.